Yes, you're welcome back. You're still on to the School of Money, and I'm Olumide Emmanuel. I'm here with Timothy Olorunseyi and Wisdom. We've been talking about creating your success story. These are my success story. These are my proteges. These are my mentees. We've done part one. This is part two. We're looking at creating your success story. Now, I want us to focus on, I know how you guys started. So for you now, Timothy, I remember many years ago when you were working and you were earning about $30, about 8,000 naira. I remember those days. I remember when you wanted to go to India. One time, say you were going to Singapore. I said, what nonsense? Where are you going to sit down there? You know, I'm just thinking, looking back now. So now, and I remember when you made some money and you refused to listen. I said, go and buy a house. You say, stock. And then you lost the money. And looking back, and now you say, look, I'm back. I want to listen fully now. So for you, what can you say are the things that has changed your story? What are the steps you took? What are the things you did? So does everybody have to go into capacity building to make money? Does everybody have to go into real estate? So what are the things you have done so that people can learn to know that these are the things that has helped me to go from step A to where I am today?
Thank you. Thank you very much once again, sir. I must confess that, like I've shared also, like we've also learned, it is not the sector in which you play that guarantees your success. There are failures also in real estate. There are failures in oil and gas. There are failures in telecoms. So if you do not become the type of person that makes business work, the sector in which you play will still not matter, will still not make any difference. And so, let me just mention one. There are several keys that opens different doors. There's not one key that opens the same door. So I must say that one of those keys that I learned and I've practiced all over, and that we've practiced, I've seen, we've done this over and over again, is the principle of hard work and diligence. You cannot, I know the aspect of smart work. I know the aspect that you need to be smart, you need to apply smart work. I know the principle of leverage and all of those things, but you cannot rule out the need for you to work hard. You need to work very hard. Sometimes we stay awake around 1 a.m. and you start work from 1 a.m. to 1 a.m. And then sometimes when people see anything you see outside, there's something going on behind the scene. And then you need to find out what that they do behind the scene. Sometimes we burn midnight candles and you do a lot of work. So hard work is one of those secrets. And it's quite unfortunate. People of our generation today are very, very lazy. Everybody wants quick success, quick fix. Want to make it get rich quick syndrome. Everybody's just trying to make it sharp. That's not the way it works. It comes in installments, and there's a dint of hard work that needs to go into it.
Wow, hard work. He said you need to be before you do, and then you need to make sure that you are hardworking. There is no substitute for hard work. Okay, so let's hear you guys.
Okay, I remember many years ago. I will still use the examples that I had.
You used to be a bricklayer.
A foreman, sir.
A foreman. When you were building this place, you were carrying.
A foreman is more like a packaging it. It's a bricklayer. You know, if we want to say our entire story, this episode will not even be enough to say. But you see, many years ago, I remember I came to you. That was about 5-6 years ago. I came to you and I told you that I have accumulated money before and we have lost it, but that at this time around I want to start accumulating at least ₦1 million on a monthly basis. And you told me it was very easy, that's the easiest thing I can ever do. While I was talking to you, I felt this man does not understand what I'm talking about. How will you say making ₦1 million a month is the easiest thing I can ever do? You know, I left that day. I tried to ask you how. And some of the things you told me was, bring out a piece of paper, sit down, and start counting one by one the things you want to do. Look at which one is very easy to achieve. And how will you multiply what you want to do to be able to earn 1 million? If you want to earn 1 million, all you need to do is to divide 1 million into 100. And can you get 100 people to give you 10,000 naira? And immediately my head opened. So one of the principles that I learned is the principle of planning. If you don't know how to plan, you won't even know when you even get to a particular destination, and you won't be able to identify opportunities. So that principle of planning is one thing that we do. We don't take it for lightly at all. Many times we go for retreats. Sometimes I tell our staffs that we can be in a meeting for 18 hours. And some of them, they wonder how. One day we decided to take them along, 2 or 3 of them, and they stayed. Some of them were dozing off. I was like, what are you doing that you're dozing off? So if you really need to succeed, you have to understand some of these principles. The principle of planning, programming, and projecting to the future cannot be compromised.
You've had the place of being, the place of hard work. Now you are hearing planning, making sure you have a plan, you have projections. Yeah, it's amazing.
Okay.
I like it.
Thank you, sir. You taught us how to increase your value in the marketplace. And I remember you talked about courage, you talked about character, you talked about competence, you talked about building capacity. You see, all these 4 C's. But I must say, the one that inspired us the most was the word courage. I remember you telling us courage is not the absence of fear, but it's just knowing inside of you that you are afraid, and no any other person knows that you are afraid. You said courage is moving on despite your fears. And I tell you, most of the things we have attempted, we left the realm of I wish to, I intend to, I plan to, I want to. Whatever we want to do, we take that step. We're still speaking today with our solicitor, and we're discussing about a business adventure we're about to undertake, and you could see fear in him. But I told him we got here by taking risk, and we are going to get to the next level by taking higher risk. So the courage to take risk, to do it despite your fears, I tell you, you cannot put that aside. If you really want to be successful, then you must begin to do that thing now. The thing that you dread the most, that you are afraid of doing, go out there. Don't say there is lion in the field. The lion is in the field for you to kill. Then you become a champion.
How did you even know that there's lion? Did you go? You are sitting down and
Wow. Did you hear that? Courage, risk-taking. These are all principles that they have applied that have helped them to get the way they are now. While we're all speaking, you guys said something, and of course I know the story. You've made money, you've lost money. You guys have made money, you've lost money. I want us to go there and talk about coming back from a loss. Now, when you made money, what are the mistakes you felt you made? And then, what was going on in your mind? You know, now you have money, all of a sudden the money is gone, you have to start over again. That psychology, how do you go through that? So let me hear, then we'll come back to you guys after the break. Yeah.
It is better to be poor, hoping to be rich, than to be rich and be poor again. I came across a Jewish proverb some years ago that says, of what use is money in the hand of a fool, since he has no wisdom to retain it, kind of. I just paraphrased that. I discovered that making money, any dummy can make money. The ability to make money, once you are providing service, once you are adding value, once you are solving problems, you make money. You don't need special skill. In fact, if you have strength, you can start making money. Yeah. But retaining and sustaining it is a different ballgame. And that now requires, you need to be deliberate.
That's why you need this book.
Yeah.
How to make, manage and multiply. The ability to manage is what produces the multiplication.
Exactly.
What you make can be lost if you don't know how to manage.
Exactly.
Continue.
So it is in the managing you are able to control the funds and then determine. I tell people, and like we have also learned, that before the money comes, if you don't create a plan for the fund, people will create plan for it. Yeah. And money is called currency because it's current. It's not meant to be static. It flows. So if you don't guide it properly to places, like our mentor has shared a number of times, you need to be able to understand liabilities, understand assets, and then you need to, if you want to be rich, there are 2 ways to be rich. In fact, there's just 1 way to be rich. Just continue to acquire assets. Acquire more of assets and acquire less of liabilities. If you do that, and then sometimes people are saying, oh, I'm waiting for the day I make it big. I want to invest 1 billion. If you have never invested 5,000, I guarantee, in fact, if you have never invested, if you have never saved 1,000 naira, there's no way you'll be able to save 1 million. And so we began to take time out. If you have 5 years, 10 years, 20 years ahead of time, you make superior decisions. You make better decisions today than those who think just about the moment. So for us, what I did basically was to be deliberate about the steps I now needed to take. And instead of just spending money, now I began to save, I began to invest, and then.
I hope you heard that. So listen and listen well. When you learn from your mistake, it will help you to be wiser. History repeats itself when people refuse to learn from history. So I was asking, now you guys made money before, you lost money, and now you're back making money. So when you lost money, what were the lessons you learned? And how were you able to go through that emotion of having to lose money and having to start all over again?
Okay, one thing I must say, which everybody must learn from, is this. We lost more like connection with you when we started making money. There were things you were telling us to do that we did not listen to because we started having conflicts. And because we started having conflict, we're focused on just one source of income. And that's one of the major lessons we have learned, never to put all your eggs in one basket. Because if anything happened to that basket, your vision is gone. So what we did was to put all our eggs in one basket, and when the capital market, which was the basket we put our egg, crashed.
Never put your egg in one basket except you are the owner of the basket. But you can control the basket and the egg. Now.
So right now, the lessons we have learned, we have now started applying. Now we have diversified businesses in different sectors: real estate, training, transport, and a lot of other places, investment that we have investments in. So these are the things we're able to learn, not to put your eggs. Don't just have one source of income. One of the things you thought of was at least have four sources of income. You can have one primary source, but you need to have other sources of income so that anything that happened to the primary source, you can have something to depend on. So that's one of the major lessons we learned when we lost almost everything.
Okay, one major one for us was the point we're able to differentiate between being a self-employed person and a businessman. Who were self-employed, were never businessmen. And because as a self-employed person, if anything goes wrong with you, it affects the business. If you are sick, the business is sick. If you travel, the business has traveled. God forbid, if one dies, the business has died. So we understood the principle of creating systems. And that turned our businesses around. Today we have presence in Lagos, that's Pertinence Limited, in Abuja, in Ogun State, we have presence in Kwara State, in Ilorin, and we are just about getting into Akwa Ibom, we're in Asaba also. We learned how to create systems. The point at which we discovered what leverage is to business, how you can learn how to manage other people's time, other people's money. These are things we learned. And from that point, we could confidently say that when we talk about creating wealth, we now understand the principle. So it's not about the business we do. Today we do real estate, we do transportation, we do a number of things. But even if we choose to start selling pure water today, we'll still succeed. Because we have learned the principle of creating system and leveraging.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, you see, you need to listen to these guys. They've been where you were, they've been where you are, and they've been where you plan to be. So you need to listen because they have something to say. And that's what we talk about, success story. The secret of great men is in their stories. So you need to learn to listen when people talk about what they've gone through. And I want you to know that all these things they're sharing, multiple streams of income, that's one very key thing that you need to learn. Because if you do not have multiple sources of income, you are not having a secured journey in the place of wealth creation. And I want to ask you guys something. You guys are partners in business.
Yes, sir.
Now talk about partnership, because a lot of people have problems. Oh, how can two people be a partner? Who is the guy? Who is the boss? Who is working for who? What happens? And then they say, oh, when they now marry, their wife will scatter the business. And also, you guys, for your partnership, what are few things that you can say to people to say, okay, these are few tips that people might need to note when it comes to partnership in business?
Okay, I would say we are partners, and our wives are also partners. That's what we have successfully done to bring them together. But beyond that, we're being interviewed the other day by a particular TV house. They came to the office and they were interviewing us, and they asked us this same question about partnership. And I told them, I said, we are not in partnership, we are not partnering, that we are building a system together. We're able to streamline that from the beginning. Before we started earning the first dime, we called a lawyer together and we prepared a partnership deed. we told ourselves we are not building a company for ourselves. We are building a system that will be beneficial to us and also beneficial to the public. So that was where so the way it is right now, if I decide not to go on with the partnership, it does not affect the business. If you decide not to go on with the partnership, it doesn't affect the business. So that's one. Then the second one is that we understand each other. We were able to ask ourselves some very difficult questions from the beginning to say, okay, come, what is your vision? Where are you going to? By the time we relayed it, it tallied. And that's what brought about this partnership. And I can also say another thing is it's actually divine. We may not have time to go into that, but it's actually divine. Yeah.
Okay, I must say one of the most important factors also happens to be our commitment to the vision. You see, people go into partnership expecting both parties to put in 50-50 for you to get 50-50. Anywhere you operate partnership that way, it doesn't work. So though it's a partnership, we run it as though it's an individual business. So the commitment I put into Pertinence Limited is 100%. Now, Wisdom also puts in 100% commitment. So it's just like something that one person is supposed to do. If you have two good heads coming together, like they say, you should expect them to do better. So that level of commitment does not have respect for maybe we have equal stake in the business. No. It's 100% commitment. So I work in Pertinence as though I'm the only one there. He works also as though he's the only one there. And with that level of commitment coming together, then, and they have said others, the understanding is just there. Now, when you're in partnership, people believe you must have issues. It's just like in marriage, but I tell you, there are marriages that have lasted for 50 years, for 65 years. And those are the stories we look at. We don't look at partnerships that have failed. We kept looking up to those that have been in partnership for 50 years, and it's working. So if a marriage can work for 50 years, a business can work for 100 years.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, we're going to go on break. But when we come back from the break, I want us to close by looking at something that I believe will be like a closing. You know, when you look at your own journey, how long will you say it has taken you to get here between when you started and where you are now? Because people are always in a hurry. They want it to happen now. Some people are listening to us right now, and they're like, in the next 6 months, I should be like this guy. So that's what we want to look at. Timing, how long does it take to be able to build wealth? And for you, how long has it taken? Well, we're going to be back after this break, and we're going to be wrapping up this journey on creating your success. So don't forget, you need to get a copy of this book, The School of Money. So I want to find out, how long do you think, for you, how long did it take you to come from the bottom to where you are today? And then what do you think, we need to let people know about timing and about patience and waiting?
All right. If you are going to build durable wealth, it's not going to come overnight. You need to understand that. It has taken, I must say that even part of the losses is also part of that process. So it has taken me about 16 years now. I've personally been under direct mentorship with our mentor, and I can say that it has taken me that 16 years now. So it doesn't come overnight.
So it doesn't come overnight, because it may take you 10 years to be, and then 6 years to produce. It may take you 15 years to be. And so it is how soon you become that determines how soon you will see the realization. Yes. Yeah.
Well, for us, I would say as a company, it has taken us about 4 years to get to where we are today. But as individuals, it has taken us over 10 years to be able to come to the place where we can now say something is standing. But the thing is, it doesn't matter how long it takes you. All that matters is that you are on the journey to that place where you are going. Don't ever give up. Don't say, okay, because it's taking longer time, I should give up. If we had given up at the maybe 10th year, probably will not be where we are today. But it doesn't matter how long it takes. It's all that it matters is that you are on the journey to wealth creation. And it's just...
Wow, that's amazing.
Okay, people ask us, how do you get to achieve these things in less than 4 years? I tell them the major secret is that people found out that we are people that can be trusted, and that's the law of integrity. I must say it has taken about 20, 21 years now that I've been on this journey of integrity, and once people have known you for the same thing over the years, it's easier for them to deal with you. The business itself is less than 5 years, just about 4 years now. But I must say we have been on this journey of building integrity, building reputation, making ourselves people that can be trusted. And today, we get businesses cheaply because people found out that they can trust us.
Well, I want to say thank you guys for.
It's a privilege.
It's nice to have you guys around. It's as if we're in Dubai or America. Then we're live in the studio. It's nice to have you guys.
Thank you for your
and I want to say that I'm proud of you guys.
Thank you very much.
Because it's one thing for you to impart people, to train people, teach people. It's another thing for them to take it, work with it, and produce results. So thanks for being a success.
We celebrate you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Well, that's where we come to wrap up today's episode. We'll be looking at creating your success story. And live with me in the studio, you have seen individuals like you whose stories have changed because they decided to practice what they have heard. You've probably been listening to me on this broadcast for a while. What have you done with the information you have received? 1,000 good intention is not as powerful as one action. Get the book, get the tape, get the materials. There are downloadable versions. This is a secure website. We have MP3 download of all the audio programs, and you'll be glad you did. Till meet again in the next episode of the School of Money. Keep your dream alive. Bye-bye.
Are you feeling angry because the money you earn is not enough for your needs? Or you are frustrated because you can't manage your money properly? Or worried because you can't seem to multiply your money? If this is you, then enroll in our School of Money audio program today and discover how to make, manage, and multiply money. It doesn't matter your financial level or the financial crisis you're facing. This program will help you achieve your financial goal. To learn more, visit www.theschoolofmoney.com.ng.